How's it going, everybody, and welcome back. Today we're going to try to pull the bed off the old Dodge, get to the fuel tank and replace the fuel sender, and figure out where that leak is. So we're going to give it a shot and try to lift up the bed with the bucket. All the nuts to hold this thing down are underneath the bed, and then it comes up from the top, not like a Chevy or whatever that bolts in on the top of the bed. So I don't know, I've never done this on one of these trucks, so we're going to give it a shot and see how it goes. All right, well, I'm underneath the old Dodge here, and I see the telltale signs of some leaking fuel. So this thing is full. I just topped it up. I think there's a little piece of video or something like that I showed you guys of the puddle that was underneath of it. So looks like it's pouring out this way. The only thing I could think of is it's from the factory sending unit. If it was from mine, you would have seen all the, the witness marks, the staining or whatever back here more, right in there. Some of that Southern truck goodness right there. Just need a little bit of persuasion. And they came right out. If this was a Northern truck, we'd have to break these off or cut them off with a torch. Now, I'm not saying that the other ones are going to be easy, but hopefully they come out all right. So anyway, can't really hold you guys very easily under here, so I'm just going to take these bolts off. I mean, it's just taking off bolts, so I don't think you guys want to watch me struggle for an hour to take off bolts. And why not? You can suffer with me. There's no way to reach this stuff from the top. This is boxed in, so must be a captive nut on the top of it or something like that. And that it's like right over the frame, so thanks, Mopar. So we're going to try this. Looks like it's Loctited in, too. Got some blue on it. This isn't a real impact, by the way. This is just like a drill. And that's probably how the rest of them are going to be, so let's go get cracking on those things. Ooh, it's smoking hot. Look at that thing. No touchy. Not ideal, but, whatever. It is what it is. It sucks that the frame rail is right here because you can't get any leverage on it, so you have to use a universal. And that thing takes like all the torque out of that impact. So I did switch over to a real impact. Try to give myself some help. That one came out all right. Well, on the driver's side here, that's a fuel tank, front of the truck. This one's just up on the frame rail there. It looks pretty easy. At least I can kind of get some lube inside this little, extension or whatever. So kind of bust that thing off. What the heck? Rust or dirt? Don't know, but it came out easy. Not even warm. Sweet. Making progress. I think it's almost out. I guess it was only 3 bolts. So this one, probably the one on the other side, and then the 2 in the back. So that's good. Laying underneath that thing sucks. There's really no room. That's kind of why I like these welding hats. They're soft and they kind of flex around and stuff. Keeps part of your head, clean anyhow. But the bed is loose. So we got it loose. Should come off. Now the filler neck here has some like 3 Phillips head screws. That should just drop out of there then. At least I'll be able to push it in. So gotta knock those things out right quick. All right, I got everything disconnected underneath there. Got the filler neck all disconnected. This is where it's going to get interesting because I don't really know how to get this thing off, even using the tractor. The bed weighs quite a bit. I mean, the bumper doesn't have to come off and whatever, but it's a small tractor. So I'm just going to put you up on the tripod and we're just going to mess around with it and see. Hopefully we don't damage it. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. I think for this job, we're going to need these forks. I think. I don't know. Not entirely sure what the best way to go about doing this is, other than come over the top, try to hook on, to this rail or whatever in the front. It does have some like little tie down points kind of up there. I don't know how much this bed weighs. Several hundred pounds, I would assume. Tailgate's got to be pretty heavy by itself. So, yeah, these forks aren't like mega heavy duty. So we're gonna just try it out and see. It was close. Almost crashed into the cab. All right, this is my contraption. I have no idea if this is going to work. I'm all by myself, you know. I don't have any depth perception. I'm just winging it. So I've got these straps here through the little tie downs going up to the bucket loop. These straps are super nice. They're actually used to transport windmill blades. So they're super heavy duty and tough. So I got those up there. These ones in the back anyway. The longer the tractor sits without it running, the bucket wants to kind of dip. But across here, across the other side, I don't know. It's either going to work or we're going to have a big problem. So I'm going to put you up on the tripod. We're going to see. Like I said, I don't have any depth perception. So trying to navigate this thing around, yeah, it's going to be a trick. I don't know. We'll see. All right, well, that worked out. Kind of worked out a lot better than I thought it was. My crazy Frankenstein weird contraption up there seemed to hold pretty well. Everything is crooked here, so I don't know if you can tell. I'll take you up on the tractor. Oops. You can see the truck is kind of at a different angle. But anyway, we got to back this sucker out. Gonna get spicy right in there once these tires start coming down. Oh, we're like maximum. Oh, we're good. Oops. It's actually working out a lot better than I thought. So with this much weight on it, the bucket's gonna start to drift a little, but we'll watch it and see. Huh. Works out good. It looks so weird. All right, we're gonna need to actually sit this thing down right now because if the tractor bucket tips this way forward, that, well, I guess it won't slide off, but man, it freaks me out. Here, creak. We'll give these a shot and see. They held up an entire Volkswagen Beetle body at one point. They'll hold for now. Huh. That thing broke? No way. That sucks. Well, I think we might have found the problem. Well, the sending unit still needs to be fixed, and I don't have a tank for it. I think that's the problem. Look at that. We're going to go up and fill up some of these cans, fill it up, and see where it's leaking from, and go from there. If it's leaking out of the top, we know that that's the problem. If it's leaking out of this crack, we know it's busted. Not sure. Maybe it's part of this flashing? I don't know. Defeats the entire purpose of me taking the tank down, but that sure looks like a crack to me. But we'll find out. Or maybe it's not. Because it looks like, you know, witness marks right there from fuel coming out. Maybe it's coming out of here. Well, I'd say potentially for sure. Coming out of there, it's all wet, full of fuel. So anyway, we'll get cracking on it. Let me go get some fuel so I can fill this thing up and we can see where it's gurgling out of. Well, dang it. Hey, there we go. Oof. $100 for this fuel. So it's all 15 gallons of premium. Man, $100. Actually, it was like $99.70 or something crazy like that. Well, let's see what we can do about this fuel system. Now, just by looking at it, I mean, I would assume that it's leaking out of here. You know, the seal isn't good or something like that, or maybe one of these got broke. But they seem solid. Either way, we've got the stuff to fix it right here. New sending unit with this lock ring. So one of these little fingers here is kind of broke off. And I think I did try to glue this thing down or silicone it or something. We're just going to have to see. We'll have to get in there and take a look. See why it's doing that. So, I mean, it's pretty obvious just by looking at it. It does have fuel down inside of it. So I would assume that it's leaking from there. I don't know. We're just going to have to see. I don't think that crack or whatever's on the side. I'll have to go back and look at the video, but I'm pretty sure now that I'm kind of dwelling on it, that weird thing was like an artifact in the tank already. It's like part of the flashing or something like that of the tank. And it just looks like it's broke, but it's not. So if you haven't seen any of the previous videos on this truck where I modified this fuel tank for an electric fuel pump, you can go back. I think I'll put up a card. I don't know, where are the cards at up there? You can go and see how all of this was made. That was interesting. Anyway, we're get cracking on this thing. Sun's going down, shadows are getting long. We got to get done. Hopefully all the parts are here. This looks like just the sending unit, but it should have that ring in here too. Yeah, there it is. Cool. All right. Well, apparently this lock ring is reproduced by LMC Truck. Apparently it's like their own thing, exclusive to them apparently. But yeah, I mean, you can't get it anywhere else, so it's pretty nice. And then this I don't think is the correct sending unit for it. But, you know, it is what it is. I couldn't hardly figure it out. on their website, I mean, it looks like the right one, but I think mine's different. I thought mine went straight down. Guess we'll find out here in a minute. We'll disconnect this vent line right here. So we got that. Power is disconnected, or that isn't even power. That's the control side for the sender. The sender does work in here, but it only goes up to like a quarter of a tank once in a while, and then flips back down. So, you know, that thing ain't so good. Try a couple things. I don't know what this is for. Valve stem puller or something like that for a motorcycle. I think that's what it's for. But it'll work good for us. Oh, real quick. Let me show you how close I was to wrecking the cab of the truck. That right there is a mark from the forks. So, I mean, I barely scratched it. When I first saw it and I came over here, I could actually just flake clear coat off of it. So, that's how close I was with the forks to actually just smashing this whole cab in. Got really lucky. You'll no depth perception issues. Yeah, I'd say that's where we're losing our fuel. Maybe this thing rattled loose because this thing was broke? I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think it tightened down all the way. Pretty full on fuel. All right, so there's the one that came out of the truck. So let's take a look at the other one and kind of get an idea of how different they are. So this is the one out of my truck, obviously. And then this is the one that LMC says is the replacement for the 30-gallon tank sending unit. And this truck has a 30-gallon tank in it. So it is what it is, I guess. You know, quite a bit different. I guess we'll see if this even fits in there. I mean, it's hard to pick on their website because there's only really one choice for the 30-gallon one that looks even remotely close to this. The other ones are like straight down in the tank. So I don't really know. So yeah, this isn't there wasn't any choices. The other ones were vastly different or listed as the wrong thing, the wrong part. So I don't know. Put a new gasket in there. There we go. That one fits good. Let's see how this goes. I mean, it seems to just fit right in there. I guess we can go inside the truck and see if if the fuel tank level reads correctly. So we'll put yellow on that one, black on that one, and the green rather. Why did I call it black? Guess I was thinking of positive and ground. So let's plug this thing in and see if the fuel gauge at least reads anything other than empty and zero. All right, well, it's the moment of truth. It's super frustrating not having a gas gauge, that's for sure. Especially on a brand new engine. You don't know like what kind of mileage you're getting or anything. Hey, would you look at that? That should be right because it's a little under a full tank, according to what I can see in the tank. I'll pull it out and show you. And that means that I just went and spent $100 on premium fuel at like the highest price point that there was for nothing. But I couldn't tell how much fuel was in it. Tried doing the whole like listen at the filler neck and slosh it around thing. Didn't really sound all that great. Look, it's totally full just about. Can you see her in there? Yeah, she's full up. Okay, well, good. It works. I have no idea. I mean, it's pretty long. So I'm assuming that it's going to read relatively close to correct. Let's hope. I don't know. Let me put you back up in the stand so I can get this thing to seat properly. So Mopar had, if you recommend you go check out some of the other videos on this truck, you might like them. Okay, so that is basically, this point here is facing forward, we'll say. Yeah, this tank was pretty intense. What Chrysler did from the factory is they had like a bunch of tar over the top of this. Well, this doesn't seem like it is seating. Oh man, don't tell me that this thing isn't going to tighten down correctly. Huh. What's going on with this thing? Well, we're going to have to take this thing out and see what's going on. Get the sending unit out and see if it tightens down with the sending unit out of it. It looks like it's smaller. Well, that being said, this is the most comfortable I've ever been working on this truck. Being able to sit on the tire. I'll tell you what, taking the bed off was sketchy, but working on it this way, this is pretty nice. I don't know, because even these little tiny fingers don't snap out there, really. And it just does not like to tighten down. It just wants to pop back out. So, let's try the factory one. See how that tightens down. Mopar original right there for the win. Feels like it's, yeah, look at that. This one doesn't work. In case you're wondering, all of these vent tubes and stuff, return, vent, fuel, none of this stuff matters on this sending unit. All it does is work my gauge. This is a 255 Walbro pump that runs the sniper in the front. This is a special module that I welded up and fabricated. All of this stuff is unique to this tank. If I would have had a tank from a later model that had the provision in it for an electric pump, I would have used that. But this tank didn't have it, and these trucks aren't super common up in Michigan. So it isn't really that easy to find just one of these things in a junkyard that hasn't been totally picked over or isn't in really, really, really bad shape. So I had to kind of work with what I had, and this is what I ended up coming up with. This is the gasket dressing that I used whenever I sealed this up. That's a thin layer of this, or not so thin, big old gooey pile of this gasket maker on it, cork gasket on top, another big thick layer of that, and then that's got like a plate underneath of it that screws it straight on down. This is what it is. This stays tacky and gooey. This is what we're going to use. It says fuel resistant. That one also says fuel resistant. 85-420 fuel resistant gasket dressing and sealant. Maybe we'll use that. And then this is another one. I might use this over the top. Resistant to all automotive fuels. So ideal for case halves. I don't know. So this is basically the same one. It was 29132. 29132. Chainsaw, weed eater, whatever it is. It's like the exact same one, just a little different packaging. All right, we're just going to goop all this stuff right into the threads. A little bit on the bottom here. This doesn't harden. I took this sending unit, or this fuel pump unit that I made out, I don't know, month or so afterwards, and it was still super tacky and nasty. It's no fun to work with this stuff, but it works great. Here we go. Yeah, there's no way that that other one would have even come close to locking down this hard. All right, well, we're going to fill up around here like Chrysler did. Just going to make that thing a big puddle. This is what they did. This is what Mopar did. Except it was like a black tar. So this is what I'm going to do with this. This should work. It shouldn't even leak the way that it is. The way that that's locked down on that brand new O-ring should be fine. Yeah, this thing shouldn't be going anywhere. All right, I'm going to swap over these lines. Basically, they don't do anything. They're just capped off. Because again, this doesn't do anything except vent the tank and, you know, activate my gauge up in the cluster. So that's it. These things don't do anything. Well, all right. Check it out. This stuff is just oozing all over the place down there. It's running all over, but that's good. You can see down, you know, kind of in the center there, some of the blue. That's where, you know, my gasket stuff crushed out. So I think we're solid on that. And then, like I said, this is the way that it was from Mopar with like a weird black tar stuff. I used a bunch of diesel to get it off, but I think that once this kind of sets up, you know, we're going to be fine. I don't need it to really do much more than that. I did put clamps on all of this stuff. Now, again, these are just kind of threw some little block offs on them. Everything's good, tied down. Everything's back on it. I guess we'll just go try to put the bed back on it now. I can't see much more that I can really do with this. If it leaks anymore, I don't know what I can do. You know, so it just kind of is what it is. Fuel gauge works. And fuel pump works. Everything's good. Yeah, I don't know what else I can really do. Well, in case you haven't really followed along with the project or you're new to the channel, let me take you on a quick tour of the truck. It's a 1984 Dodge D150. I bought it like 10 or 12 years ago out of Alabama. I've been just kind of slowly picking away at it ever since. It's got a built 360 that me and my buddy Jay did. He's got a machine shop. We did all the work there. Everything is basically custom in it. It's got a Holley Sniper on it. You know, I don't know how much horsepower it's making. We haven't ever had it on a dyno. This is kind of just a cruising around truck, so I'm not really super concerned with it, but maybe around 400-ish. I'm not even sure. Maybe I'm off on that. New carpet and different stuff on here. The tank has been modified for an electric fuel pump. You know, I did that myself. You can see in the other videos that whole thing. It was kind of a nightmare, but works great now. Brand new springs in the back because the factory ones are all S-shaped and wopped out. It's got a 8 3/4 rear end in it with 323 gears and a sure grip posi, so you know it does all right. It's got a CCI drive shaft down there, pretty good. It doesn't have the full exhaust on it yet. That was kind of just a temporary deal with just some kind of Jegs knockoff Flowmaster cheapy ones. They sound pretty good. And I've got Ford wheels, so these are off of an Explorer. You know, at the time, it had the 15-inch wheels stock, and the 15-inch tires were really expensive for 15s. And the 16-inch tires were super cheap. So I just went out and found some 16-inch wheels that fit. The lug pattern is 5 on 4.5. Found them on an Explorer. $60 for a whole set. You know, got the tires for like $80 a piece. And there they are. I think they look pretty good. They fill up the wheel wells on this truck really nice. So yeah, that's basically kind of the long and short of this truck. It's just a little hot rod cruiser. Now, let's hurry up and slam that bed on here before it gets too late. think the back end needs to come this way and the front end needs to basically stay where it is. So, you know, just kind of is what it is. Yeah, beyond that, I might be able to just pull it, just grab it and just pull it over. You know what I mean? So, just going to be fiddling around. So I'm going to fiddle around with all this stuff a little bit. Not going to be super exciting, but you can see kind of right there. It's a little bit too far out. So I'll just keep messing around with it and then you know, bolt it down. Should be good. Well, that's basically it. Let's see if the sender still works. Should be good. Everything's bolted down. Hey, look at that. Quick fire up. She's a beast. So that's it. Fixing the fuel tank with taking the bed off was a pain, but it was easier than dropping the tank the way I've been doing it. You know, crawling under there, taking all the stuff off. I mean, honestly, it was kind of a nightmare lining everything back up by myself, getting it all straight because I got to kind of like stick my fingers down in these cracks and just kind of measure the best I can. You know, oops, down the sides. I think I got it pretty doggone straight. It's probably straighter than it was before, but you know, it is what it is. So yeah, taking the bed off, nightmare, and it sucks by yourself, but still easier than dropping the tank by yourself. That's it. Fuel sender works. I have to let the caulk or whatever, the RTV, sit for at least 24 hours before I can, you know, test it or whatever, fill it up and see. So, you know, if I need to put gas in the truck before I upload this video, then we'll see that. If not, I'm just assuming that it's good or it's not going to be fixed because I'm not screwing with it any more than this. So that's it. I appreciate you watching. That's taking the bed off of a 1984 Dodge D150. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. I'm super happy about the 1,000 subs, so thank you, everybody. You know, there's an address, an email, and all that stuff down in the comments, or down in the description, rather. Leave me a comment. Go check me out over on Instagram. I look like a wreck. I gotta go. I'll see you next time. I think when I left, my odometer said 225 miles, something like that. It's like 310, so what is that, like 85 miles roughly, something like that. And I had a full tank of gas. I haven't done the math, but it feels like it's gonna hurt. But it sure is a beautiful day to be out cruising in your hot rod.